What's going on, you guys? It's AJ from ajFitness. Haven't talked to you guys in quite a bit, been on vacation, and because of that, I've been exposed to the crappiest gyms America has ever seen. Anyway, I'm going to be working on my quads and glutes and hamstrings in this workout. It's a very simple workout. I start off with leg extensions, and a lot of people say don't do leg extensions because they're bad for your knee. Depending on how much weight you use and the angle at which you start, then you could risk injuring your knee. As you can see here, I'm using a very shallow angle, I adjust my feet so I can work different parts of my quads, and in between each warm-up set of leg extensions, I stretch my leg just a little bit. It is true that static stretching, weakens the muscle, but this is just a personal preference thing. I just like the way it feels. I feel like I'm really extending those fibers. And I go right back into another set of leg extensions. I'm doing about 20 reps, 18 to 20 reps of leg extensions as a warm-up. I don't like to jump right into a big exercise like squats, which is what I'm going to be doing very soon to start my workout out, because it's a very big exercise, very compound, and it can be dangerous for your muscles and your joints if they're not warmed up properly. So now we're going to move on to my first set of squats. This first set is also somewhat of a warm-up. I'm doing the ideal range of motion, which means I'm going down just to about parallel, where my thighs are parallel with the ground. You don't need to go deeper unless if you are powerlifting or want to work your hamstrings while doing squats, but these are the most basic squats, barbell squats, that you can do. All the way down, full range of motion, 12 reps right there. Now, after my first set of squats, I go and I really extend those quad fibers on styrofoam roller. You want to make sure that the styrofoam roll is really stiff, and it's not comfortable when you're doing it, but it really does help, really stretch out the muscle a little bit more. Your muscles won't tighten up as you're doing more sets of squats. And I do this one leg at a time and then both legs at the end. Now, here's a story about squats. Over the summer, this past summer, if you watch my other videos, you'll see that I've started incorporating some powerlifting techniques into my workout regimen, and that's because I wanted to gain more strength. It worked, but I sacrificed, I basically sacrificed my lower back doing deadlifts and squats, heavy squats. Not because I did them wrong, I had improper form. I've been coached on these powerlifting moves by really good professionals, and I was doing the right form, but my body is just not made for it. It's something I have to accept because I have a 29-inch waist. That is very small, and for a guy like me, and for powerlifting, that means that my waist is the most vulnerable part of my body. It's like having a really heavy door on a really small hinge, on one really small hinge. The hinge is going to give before the door does, obviously. And so that's where I eventually got a pinched nerve in my lower back, and I couldn't do squats or deadlifts, and I had to stop, those major leg workouts for a few months. But this is the first time I'm squatting since the end of the summer, I'd say. I did lose some strength from doing squats, not a lot, but I was repping about 320 pounds at the end of the summer. Kind of disappointed about it, but it's okay. I've had moments where I have lost strength, but I'm able to gain it back. One thing about me is I'm able to gain my strength back quite quickly, as opposed to other people. But once I get my strength back, I'm going to know not to lift as heavy or use the powerlifting techniques. I will use basic techniques. There's nothing wrong with it, especially for someone like me who competes in fitness modeling competitions. Not bodybuilding, fitness modeling. As you can see here, I'm already beginning to struggle on 225 pounds. I know a lot of you guys out there can squat a lot more than this, but that's okay. You gotta be patient. Now, as you can see, I'm now dropped down in weight. 205 pounds, doing some drop sets now. It's a great way to recondition your muscles, build up the stamina as well as strength, keeping it somewhat heavy. And also, you can also see that I had my spandex on underneath my sweatpants, and that's also another personal preference thing. I find that sweatpants can be somewhat restricting because they are, they can mess with your flow of movement if they get twisted and you can't really move. Spandex makes sure that I don't really have to worry about, my pant legs getting all twisted and really making the workout a lot more challenging than it needs to be. That was a really crappy rep right there. I make sure that I do a lot better on the next one. Down as low as possible, close to parallel. And obviously, when you're working out any sort of exercise, the more you do it, the more fatigued you get. As you can see, I'm really tired now. Your form's going to be sacrificed a little bit. It happens. And finally, back to the starting weight, which wasn't that bad to begin with, but once you started getting towards the end of the set, you're going to be tired. So I was able to pump these out quite easily. Also notice that I'm not locking my knees. I know I'm not locking my knees. It's uncomfortable when I lock my knees with hundreds of pounds of weight on your back. Finish this set. So this is the inhale, exhale. Just like that. And finally, we are done with the squats. In the later coming weeks, I will increase weight. And finally, last exercise are donkey kicks, or in this case, the machine called it Glute Eagle, but that just doesn't make any sense. I just call these donkey kicks. This targets your hamstrings, but it really, really smashes your glutes. No pun intended. But I only did 4 sets of these, but I did 8 reps per set, and I increased the weight every time. So I didn't drop the amount of reps, I kept going at the same frequency. Or should I say rep range. Next set, down to my tank top, really starting to heat up. I don't know about you guys, but when I do legs, I get really hot and I sweat a lot. It's only with legs that happens. Any other body part, perfectly fine. But it makes sense because your legs are the largest, in terms of surface area, the largest muscle on your body. And I'm switching the rest so I can work out the other leg, obviously. Like I said, this really, really hits your glutes. And I've done this exercise before, and a lot of people tell me that's an exercise for girls. And last time I checked, I don't think there are any exercises that are gender specific. As far as I'm concerned, right now, as I'm making this commentary, my butt is, cramping up like crazy. This exercise works. And the next time I have my leg workout, which will be next week, I'm going to, instead of doing this, I'm going to switch to leg curls. Either leg curls or lunges to work my hamstrings and my glutes. This is because, like I said, my leg exercises have really suffered because of my small injury in my lower back. This is for all you pervs out there, this is a nice butt shot. You're welcome, I think. But like I was saying, my leg exercises had really suffered, and therefore I wasn't able to lift as heavy. I wasn't able to do the most important leg exercises that I needed to do. And so I'm starting back slow, baby steps. But at the same time, I really got to keep the intensity up because I'm only months away from Fitness Atlantic, and I expect to take gold, or at least first or second, to receive a pro card, but I'm going for the gold. And finally, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys subscribe to ajFitness and follow me on Twitter @FitnessWithAJ. Take care, you guys.